Good evening and welcome. It is 6:15 p.m. across Cameroon. It is 6:15 p.m. on Canal International. It is time for the news. Another installment, the last but one for the week, brought to you as always from our main production hub in Douala. First things first, though, here's Cynthia Latte with the headlines.
The propagation of hate speech across Cameroon is becoming very concerning. Despite repeated warnings and awareness campaigns, perpetrators using both social media as well as conventional news outlets are seemingly paying deaf ears. Now, a group of media organ publishers and leaders say it is time for the authorities to act, and act fast. Residents of Ebebda in the Cliquez division of Center region are fuming with rage. They have seen their daily lives disrupted, their businesses and public services crippled as a result of prolonged blackout. In fact, they have gone for over 8 weeks without electricity despite repeated and unmet promises of a solution by local authorities. Women across the world are preparing to pour out of their homes on March 8 to commemorate the International Women's Day. At Canal International and its sister radio, Sweet FM, it has been 2 days of busy preparations as female staff of the group prepare to take control of the airwaves. That was a summary of tonight's top stories. Now stay tuned for full developments in a moment.
Thanks once again for staying on with us. We sincerely appreciate. Now, there is little gainsaying the fact that the propagation of tribal hate speech across Cameroon is fast threatening the nation's unity. Publishers and media leaders are now calling on journalists and the authorities that be to take their responsibilities seriously before the divisive rhetoric gets out of hand and becomes irreparable. SK Jang Henry Atembe.
A group of publishers in Cameroon have decided to speak out against the growing wave of tribal hate speech that they say is critically undermining the nation's fragile social fabric. With over 200 ethnic groups, the country is still learning to forge a shared national identity, but hate speech is fanning the flames of division. The publishers warn that this divisive rhetoric, spreading unchecked on social media and conventional news outlets, threatens the peace and stability of the nation. Their concerns are clear. By allowing such rhetoric to flourish, journalists are violating their ethical codes and authorities are failing to hold those responsible accountable. The publishers emphasize the need for immediate action to stop this dangerous trend before it leads to more harm. While the law clearly punishes hate speech and incitement to violence, the lack of enforcement has allowed these destructive messages to spread with impunity. Publishers urge both the media and the government to act before words tear apart the fragile unity of the categorically ruled that hate speech has no place in Cameroon's future and that the time to act is now.
Felix Bala Agbon Congo has warned that the spread into violence undermine democracy and wreck national unity. In a recent outing, the man of law has urged politicians, the civil society, the media, and citizens to reject hate and ensure a peaceful electoral process. According to him, Cameroonians need more than ever before to embrace unity, considering that decades of corruption and social inequality. And back to this news, Cameroonian lawyers, they have been seen out of court since Wednesday to protest what they describe as the brutality meted on some of their colleagues by gendarmes and police, transformed into punching bags by the law.
At the Central Regional Court of Appeal this Wednesday, March 5th, there is no sign of a black robe. The doors of the lawyer's room closed, clients sitting and waiting for their different lawyers, but the legal minds are not coming. The 3-day strike action of not attending court sessions is effective. The lawyers, especially victims of the decried torture, catching up and saluting the decision of the Cameroon Bar Association.
Well, we want to thank the leadership of the Cameroon Bar Association, better late than never, because it's not been our wish that we paralyze the judicial system in Cameroon. But steadily and gradually, we've been pushed to it several times.
The barbaric treatment on the lawyers, they lament, has gotten to an unacceptable level.
They treat us with disdain. They make their own laws. They want even to take our profession. You appear before them with a claim. They are angry. L'affaire ci n'a pas besoin d'un avocat. L'avocat va gâter l'affaire. And as a result of it, they are not satisfied with what they chose to do. They decided to run and to wear their khaki uniform. Lawyers decided to wear their robes. And that has been it in this country. And lawyers have been transformed to cargo. Repeatedly, lawyers have been beaten and thrown back with other colleagues out of this place. You see life in you. You see how important a lawyer is in society.
We cannot continue in this kind of atmosphere because if there is no law, if there is no lawyer, there is no justice. If there is no lawyer, there is no peace. If there is no peace, there is no development. So I think that government should be very, very attentive to what is going on because we cannot continue to tolerate the excesses of police and gendarmes.
The 3-day strike action, they insist, is just a step towards setting the record straight to the government.
We look forward to the day that victims, lawyers who are victims, we look forward to the day that the Delegate General for National Security should send a delegation to the bar headquarters for us to sit and talk. For us to sit and talk like it happens in Nigeria.
And it is not just going to end at that. We are going to push forward to have a talk, a General Assembly of Lawyers, where we sit and talk about the future of our profession and, if possible, come out with a resolution that will make this not to happen again.
The lawyers equally call on the bad seed among the uniformed men to copy the example of those on the path of professionalism.
We now have a chance to hear from the president of the Cameroon Bar Association, Bar Eric Mba, with further explanations on the raison d'etre of the ongoing strike action.
The Bar Council communique talked about inhuman treatment and torture. Torture must not just be physical. You have psychosomatic torture, but what we're even talking about is physical brutality. I think I speak under your control as a journalist. You are the ones who even diffuse some of these images. You see lawyers who have been arrested, handcuffed, carried and lumped behind the police or private vans and all of that. Some have been dragged as though the other case that Kokomo was handcuffed in a very shabby mood and chained to the frames of a door as though it was. That's the thing that we call inhumane treatment because once you have demobilized somebody, he's under your custody. Why do you need to chain him? Why should he be chained? So those are some of the things, and in most cases, and in all the cases, not even most, when we talk about this protection, it is not the individual that we seek to protect. Nobody should make a mistake. Lawyers are not above the laws, and lawyers are not saints. But we are saying that this is a mirror profession through which the integrity of the justice system is being measured. So we simply say that let they have some degree of respect when it comes to lawyers, when it comes to treating the Cameroonian citizens. We are all born with inalienable rights, the rights to human dignity.
That was Eric Mba there, the president of the Cameroon Bar Association, speaking to our Bamenda permanent correspondent, Annie Collins. Annie, and now let's usher you to Ebebda, and that's a locality in the Cliquez division of Cameroon Central region, which has gone without electricity for the past 2 months. And as we speak, businesses are being crippled, house lives are being disrupted, and public service is simply not functional. In the meantime, local authorities have been tall on promises of restoring the situation before very long, but they've been short on delivery. And now frustration is mounting within the ranks of residents, as you tell us, Beatrice Gladys Ambo Ndibang.
For over 2 months, to adapt to extreme difficulties,
It's been 2 months since we last had electricity. We've been living in darkness for over 2 months. This town has so many opportunities, but the lack of electricity is making life extremely difficult.
In the markets, shops, and government offices, the impact is severe.
The people have complained, but nothing has changed. Here we can only drink warm beer, which drives away customers, especially in this heat. As tailors, we are forced to use charcoal irons whenever there is no electricity. It's not easy.
Authorities say the town's power supply network was vandalized, leaving residents in the dark. Efforts to repair the damage have been slow, and even those who rely on generators are now stranded as fuel becomes scarce.
I'm experiencing the situation firsthand. The power outage is costing us a lot. I have to buy fuel 3 times a week to run the generator, so this power outage is the result of vandalism of the electricity supply network by unknown individuals. We've been living in darkness for 2 months now.
But patience is running thin in Ebebda with no clear timeline for when power will return. Residents are left to cope with the daily struggles of living in darkness.
Joining us, you're watching the news, the 6:15 p.m. edition on Canal International, coming to you live from our main production hub in Douala. And now, in the lead up to this year's International Women's Day, female staff of the Canal Group, and I'm referring there to Canal International and Sweet FM Radio, have been abreast with preparations and taking part in diverse activities, from personal development sessions to human investment exercises. They have been turning out en masse, as you tell us, Cynthia Latu.
Arriving with fanfare for a significant action, women from Canal Group are gathered at Ndokpasi Market in Douala 3 subdivision this March 6, 2025, building up to the 40th edition of the International Women's Day. Equipped and supported by the Douala 3 Council, they sweep, scrap, collect, and clean the pathways of the market.
We were so delighted, I personally from the Southwest region, so delighted to be here, to be closer to the televiewers of Canal International. We had to labor or contribute in the hygiene and sanitation of this market.
The action praised by the market vendors also aligns with the cleanliness program initiated by the Douala City Council.
My message today is to ask everybody, not only those who are here, like you, everybody living there in Douala 3 Council, to work, to clean around his house, around the office, to make that we cannot work with the waste. It's not normal to work where there is dirty. So we have to clean our place. Our council will do the rest.
In the wave of empowering women, this initiative is organized in anticipation of the 2025 International Women's Day celebration. The sanitation activity follows a moment of coaching and motivation for the female staff of Canal Group on March 5, 2025, facilitated by the Go Ahead Africa Consultancy. These television professionals receive tools to boost their self-confidence and enhance their ability to overcome challenges. They received certificates of training, marking the beginning of a long series of activities planned for the women of Canal Group as the D-Day approaches come March 8.
And let's stay on the same beat because police women in the capital Yaoundé have embarked on a crusade to discourage the consumption of drugs in schools. They actually visited several educational establishments earlier today with one singular motive: preach the negative consequences of the consumption of banned substances. Hyacinth Chia reports.
The women of the National Security Corps here in their numbers to add their voices to those of the teachers to sound the alarm against the...
It's a pity. We apologize for the bad quality of the report. We'll definitely come back to it because the International Women's Day is still 48 hours at least away. And now let's talk customs, because the Cameroon's customs authorities say they are ramping up efforts to crack down on corruption along the Douala-N'Djamena and Douala-Bangui corridors. A major crackdown on the way is targeting illegal roadblocks as well as the harassment of transporters. Gladys Ambundibang.
Cameroon is tightening its grip on corruption within its customs system, particularly along the Douala-N'Djamena-Bangui corridor. This week, a high-level awareness campaign has been launched in the Adamawa region, spearheaded by the Inspector of Services on the orders of the Director General of Customs. The campaign, which brings together custom officials, economic operators, transporters unions, and key stakeholders, aims to enforce strict compliance with customs regulations and eliminate illicit practices that have long hindered trade along the route. Addressing customs personnel in Gaundary, the Inspector of Services relayed a clear message from the Director General: corruption and unnecessary road harassment must end. Custom officials in the Adamawa and other key transit regions have been instructed to dismantle illegal roadblocks and refrain from harassing transporters. According to custom authorities, routine checks on transit goods should only occur at designated and officially recognized checkpoints. Any inspections conducted outside these points are deemed unauthorized, and law enforcement officers found engaging in such activities will be held accountable. The crackdown comes amid growing concerns over the negative impacts of corruption on Cameroon's trade and international reputation. Custom authorities acknowledge that over time, illegal practices have become entrenched, making periodic reinforcement of ethical standards necessary. In addition to enforcing compliance amongst custom officers, transporters have also been urged to respect regulations. To facilitate transparency and accountability, the government has made available a toll-free number 8044 where transporters and business persons can report cases of abuse or extortion by custom officials or security forces. With trade along the corridor crucial to the economies of Cameroon, Chad, and the Central African Republic, authorities say restoring order and efficiency will boost business confidence and streamline regional commerce. The message from the Cameroon Customs is clear: corruption must no longer be a feature of these critical trade routes.
And quickly, let's talk some health news, and that's because by 2050, over half of all the adults and 1/3 of all children currently inhabiting planet Earth will be overweight or obese. According to a report published in the science journal The Lancet, the situation will pose an unprecedented public health crisis. The report says the alarming trend is being driven by years of inaction and will lead to a surge in diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Currently, 2.11 billion adults and 493 million children across the globe are affected by obesity. And it's on that note that we thank you once again, and sincerely so, for your company all through this edition. Stay on, there's more and lots more on Canal International. See you same place, same time tomorrow. Stay safe.